Hi, I'm David Viscott, your friendly psychiatrist. I don't know about you, but you've been out tonight? Have you had a feeling? It's a kind of a funny feeling about tonight. You think it's the full moon? There's some feeling of expectancy in the air. I don't know quite what it is, and I have one of those feelings about me tonight that anything can happen, but of course it can. Hi, John.
Hold on, please. You're not kidding either. There's some very unusual situations tonight that I've never heard of before.
What are you feeling on the phone tonight?
It's,
We've all been talking about it being a little different tonight.
yeah, it's one of those strange things. I notice a lot of hardness, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of anger,
Edges.
hostility, edginess. Yeah, I guess that's the word for it. And matter of fact, we got a lot of people waiting for you.
Well, let's go right to them. What do you have?
Let's start off with a 15-year-old named Mike on line 9. Has a tough time beating a habit he wants to talk to you about.
Okay. Mike,
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm fine.
Tell me what's going on.
Well, like, it started off a while ago. I tried masturbating one time.
How old were you?
I think it must have been around almost 14.
Okay, and that was the first time you masturbated?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
That's kind of late.
yeah, I guess.
Okay. That was the first time?
Like when I was 13, yeah. That was
Yeah.
the first time.
Okay, and what happened? I mean, I know what happened, but tell me, what evolved? How did the situation get to the point where you're calling me up tonight? What are you calling up about, by the way?
Well, it just, like, seems like I do it a lot, and I don't, like, know if that's bad or what.
Okay. What is a lot?
Well, I think I've done it, like, once a day or something.
And you think what?
And, I mean, I don't know, like, if that's, I don't know if that's, like, strange or what.
I'd say that's just about average. And probably, it varies. I think you're at an age where sexual hormones are very, very high. And masturbation is extremely common and very frequent. I would call you right in the center of normal. Do you want to take a survey of all the guys in the studio and see what the average was at 14?
Yes.
I'm sure you're on the light side. Do you have any friends you can talk these things over with?
Well, see, I'm not sure because I don't, like, know if my friends do or not. Or...
You want me to tell you the answer? They do. They do because it's universal. It's often been said that 96% of adolescent boys at 14 and 15 masturbate. You know what the other 4 do?
What?
They lie. It's just common. It's just there. And girls masturbate too, not as much. But boys masturbate universally, all over the world. But there's something more about this that troubles you?
Oh, yeah, just, I didn't know if, like, everybody did it, like, at least once a day. Or...
Well, so? What difference does that make? It means you're normal. Is there another part about this that frightens you?
I don't think so.
Anything about your thoughts while this is going on?
When I do it, or?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. I mean, like, I don't, like, have any out of the blue thoughts or something that are strange.
No out of the... I mean, what do you think about?
Well, about girls. Or...
Sounds okay to me. Where's your dad in all this?
My dad?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know or anything.
He doesn't know?
No.
If you got a dad you can talk to?
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to him about sex?
Not really, kind of.
Not kind of, like what?
I mean, not really, like totally getting into that subject, but...
And the reason for it, he's not comfortable with it?
Well, I don't know if it's him, but, like, I don't know, it's just we never, like, has came up.
Well, why would it come up?
I don't know, but...
Feels good to talk about it, though, doesn't it?
I guess.
Well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're normal. No big deal. No one around here is even snickering. I mean, we've all been there. You're a healthy kid. But what's not right is that you don't have anyone to talk to about this. And it would be nice if your dad was this, and you had a relationship that was one that was open to this kind of discussion. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Where you could say, "Oh, Mike, don't you worry about it now. Every young man goes through this sort of thing. Happened to me too, once or twice." Once or twice, Dad? Well, once or twice a day, I would say. What are you feeling?
Well, I don't know, kind of embarrassed.
Don't be. Why be embarrassed?
Because a million people are listening to what I'm saying.
No, every single person who's listening to you has been there before and wishes they had the opportunity that you're having now to make this call. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Because in the old times, you know what they used to tell us? They used to tell us we would go blind. Or you know what the standing joke in my high school used to be? Hey, do you know if you masturbate, you get hair on your palms, and all the kids would look like this, right? And they say, "Made you look, huh? Oh, the cameraman just did it." Come on, loosen up. Mike,
yeah.
Everything looks good, but you got to start talking to your dad about other things.
Mm-hmm.
Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel better?
Yeah.
You still embarrassed?
Not really.
You glad you called?
Yeah.
I'm glad you called.
Okay.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Huh.
Take care. We'll be right back. I wish someone like me was around when I was a kid. Boy, did I need help then, but, no one was around then. I had to figure it all out for myself.
I'm glad you're here now.
Thank you, John. Welcome back. What an interesting program. John.
David.
Just go for them.
Beth is on line 3. She's 27, and they got a family reunion coming up.
Okay. Beth.
Hi.
Ooh, what did I just hear?
Hello?
Yeah, I just heard an enormous amount of tension. What was that?
Is there something wrong?
No, I just heard a lot of tension in your voice.
Oh, there is. I'm very, very nervous.
About what?
Talking to you about this.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm 27, and when I was 8, from the time till I was about a little after 9, my stepbrother came to live with us, and he sodomized me. And I was in therapy for a long time, and I got out about 3 years ago of therapy. And while I was in therapy, I thought if I just brought this up with my therapist and brought it up and admitted it that it happened, that everything would be okay. But I just said what happened, and none of the emotions or anything that went with it. And because at the time I didn't realize there was anything else. And now, since my brother is coming home, I mean, I've figured things out for myself since then, since I've been out of therapy. But I'm not sure what to do about it with my brother.
What do you want to do? When was the last time you saw him?
Probably about 8 years ago.
8 years ago. So that would make you 19.
No, I'm 27 now.
8 years ago would make you 19.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. And what was it like when you saw him last time? Were you aware of any of this?
I didn't really talk to him because, yeah, I was aware of it. There's always been an underlying thing that I remembered what happened, but not any of the things that went on, the emotions that went on with it. I remember the act, but not the emotion.
What were the emotions?
Well, I'm one of those little girls that started their menstruation, their periods, when I was 8 years old. And so consequently, I was in a little kid of 8 years old does not have a real big.
What are you saying?
I knew, in a way, I felt like I knew what was happening.
You felt responsible.
Yeah, I did. I felt like I was curious maybe, and maybe that's why I didn't make him stop. But I know that I made it clear that it hurt. And I feel like I wrote this all down too.
You feel like what?
I've always felt like because I knew that it was wrong and I still let it happen, I'm a bad person because of that.
So you're feeling shame over this?
Yeah, and I feel like I don't deserve anything good. I don't let people give me things. I feel guilty a lot of the time because I feel like I was responsible.
How much older than you was he?
3-4 years.
So he was 11.
He was 12, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and when he was 12, he was like 6 feet tall.
All right, so you felt overpowered but curious.
Yeah, because I was going to these classes in hygiene, and it raised my curiosity, but I didn't quite understand, and for the longest time, I just did not understand a lot of things. I just understood that if you have sex, you can get pregnant and have babies.
Okay. All right. Now, the point is that here it is, the two of you having a life where this went on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you need to find out is if he had... See, you were both children.
Pardon me?
You were both children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was 11.
Mm-hmm.
And he was experimenting with his stepsister. I'm not saying it takes him off the hook, but I'm saying he was also a child. He was also curious.
Yeah, I don't think that I'm really blaming him because I know that his real mother, he had a lot of problems with his childhood.
All right, but the point is you're feeling bad about this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you went through your sexual development a little bit early.
Yeah.
That means you had hormonal changes. You had a brother who was close to your age who was playing with you. These things do happen.
Uh-huh, I realize that.
And you have to get to a point of forgiveness with yourself. One of the things you could ask him is if he has any recollection of what went on.
I know he does because this past year, he has seen a therapist about problems because his wife has made him.
Why don't you bring it up with him?
That's my whole problem is I want to bring it up, but I'm not sure how. I don't know what to say. That is what has gotten me stumped.
Well, I think what you ought to say to him is, look, you and I share a common past, is what I would begin with. And we both got involved in a way that neither of us was prepared for or emotionally equipped to handle. And I know it must have had a damaging effect on your life because it had a damaging effect on my self-esteem, and that I've always felt responsible for it. He'll hear that. He'll be surprised that you felt responsible. He'll be hoping all these years that you didn't remember it. If you tell him that you're not angry at him, but if you could at least verify some of the things that went on between you, so the two of you can realize that you were both victims of your own curiosity and also of the unusual circumstances that took place at that time, it'll take some of the pain away from it. And just allowing the two of you to get together as friends, even if you have not been there before, will allow you to have an opportunity to share things in a way that is almost unique. Because most kids, it'll be a brother who's 10 years older who really brutalized him. He was just about your age.
Yeah.
And you were probably more sexually mature in a sense than he was.
Probably.
Okay? And those things happen, and you have to get to a place of forgiveness of yourself so that you're able to carry on without the burden of the sense of shame. I mean, you both want to be free. And sharing it together might be a way to instigate something. Does he live near you?
No, he lives in Montana. He
Okay.
comes to visit in 3 weeks.
All right.
With his children, which I've also had a hard time with that. I get very angry when I think about that he might touch them in any way that's wrong.
Okay, I understand how you feel about that, but in a sense, he might have the same feeling about you too.
About touching his children the
Yeah,
wrong way?
yeah. Think about that for a minute. I mean, what he was he was 11 years old. Now, I'm not making a case and saying this is so strange. I'm just saying it's an opportunity for the two of you to talk and start letting some of the feelings out together. And it might be useful. It might be useful. I've never heard of this number before, but it might be useful for the two of you to see your therapist while he's in town.
Well, see, I haven't seen my therapist in 3 years.
What difference does that make?
I have no desire to go back to her at all.
All right. Well, it's an opportunity to see someone else, just to talk out the feelings and see if there's a new level of understanding that can be reached between the two of you, so you can let that go. And in letting it go, perhaps there's a way of finding a new sense of mutuality between the two of you, and see yourselves both as a victim of circumstance, curiosity, and of course, the penetration, and of course the complicity. But you cannot blame yourself.
I'm afraid if I don't know if confront is the right word, but if I bring this out with him, I'm afraid that I might get extremely angry. And I'm not one that's given to violence at all, but I know that I can get angry.
All right. Instead of coming from the anger, what you need to come from is to come from the hurt. All anger is hurt that is aged. Remember that. So never come from the anger. It's a very destructive feeling. Always come from the hurt. And what you say instead is, that experience we shared, that I took part in and I feel guilty about, that you took part in, I don't know how you feel about it, left me with a lot of hurt over the years, and that hurt has caused me a lot of pain in my life, and in some way is directing my life, and I would like to get control of it again. And I wonder if there's anything you and I can talk about that would help us, because I know you're having some difficulties now too, and I can't help but believe that maybe some of your feelings are related to that as well. Offer to share, to be part of it, offer to be one of the people who, through sharing, can make it possible for the two of you to, in knowing each other's vulnerability, to grow by it. Very difficult situation.
Do you have a gut feeling? How do you think what's going to happen?
I have the strangest feeling that he'll be relieved to see that she isn't damaged as deeply as he thought she might, and I think they'll develop a sense of mutuality and forgiveness. That's a gut feeling.
Feel like talking to Julie for a moment? She's got a problem with her boyfriend about 6 months ago. Said no more sex because it's a sin. She's on line A.
Julie?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, about a year ago, I called you because I had vaginismus, a problem with that.
Uh-huh.
And you referred me to your counseling center, and in about 2 months, it helped me, and I was able to get over my problem. So, so at that time, my boyfriend and I did have sex, and then, so he was more or less like my first partner. And then about 6 months later, I was diagnosed with chlamydia. So he gave me the chlamydia. It was very hard for me to accept this, but I did get over it, and we were both treated. So I was ready to, go on.
Did he understand how you got chlamydia?
Yeah, he understood that. He was the one that gave it to me.
Okay, and how did he feel about that?
He said he felt very upset over it.
Meaning?
Well, he seemed to react more about it than I did. He just felt very bad that after all those years of me having that problem, and then I finally...
So he felt guilty is what he felt?
Yeah, he felt guilty.
The word upset, doesn't mean anything. You shouldn't use the word upset. Just means upset. It could mean anxious, it could mean hurt, it could mean angry, it could mean guilty, it could mean depressed. But when you use a word that is that vague, it doesn't help you understand the feelings. You have to name your feeling, okay? He felt guilt. Now, a person who feels guilt often seeks out punishment. What did he do?
Now he's refusing to have any sort of sexual contact.
Because? Because,
well, first he says that it's a sin.
So what he's seeing is the wages of his sin was infecting you with chlamydia. And what he's doing is he's trying to repent.
So how do I mean, now I feel very angry at him. I mean,
He's rejecting you, but he's really, what he's doing is rejecting you. But the other thing he's trying to do is he's trying to undo his bad feelings. Is he kind of a compulsive person?
no, he doesn't seem to be compulsive.
What's he like?
He's very, how do I say? He's, I can't think of the word.
Think of the word.
Kind of docile, I don't know.
Docile? Passive?
Kind of, yeah. Passive, very emotional. Sensitive is a good word for him. Very sensitive.
How does he, is he at all controlling?
I think he could be, but he won't let himself be with me.
Well, withholding sex is pretty controlling.
Well, that's true.
So he can be controlling.
Yeah.
So he's sort of what we used to call passive-aggressive. This is a dependent person who uses controlling defenses, and these people, when they get overwhelmed with guilt, often punish themselves. Okay? You're 24 years old, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Is this guy for you?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm glad you can say that. Does he know you don't know?
Yeah, I think he realizes it now. I mean, this is putting a big strain on our relationship.
Okay. Maybe it was your first relationship. Maybe it doesn't sound like it's made in heaven to me.
I thought it was at one time.
But it doesn't feel that way now.
No.
So maybe it's the phase that you've gone through, and maybe you're moving on to the next stage in your life.
So you think he's just doing this because he feels guilt and he's trying to punish himself?
Whatever it is, it doesn't have to do with loving you.
Yeah,
Isn't that the truth?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. So maybe you ought to consider, are you in love with him?
I was. I don't know
I
if I
didn't
am.
ask, God. I said, are you in love with him, present tense?
I'm not sure anymore.
Okay, so you say, I'm not sure anymore, and maybe it's time to move on. Sometimes a relationship just peters out right in front of you, and when it starts, maybe it's time to go. You stay tuned. David Viscott, and welcome back. John.
Line B, Steve. He's 45, very, very angry.
Steve.
Hi, David.
Hi, Steve.
How's it going?
It's going good, Steve.
That's good. Anyway, I guess I'm still grieving for my brother, and I miss him a great deal, and he and I were very close together, and it's been difficult for me to let go with anger.
He's no longer here, I take it.
No, he died in 1989, February 3rd, the week before my birthday. He died on Friday at 9:50 a.m. on a Friday morning. He took his own life with a 25-millimeter Minx Beretta.
Such details.
Yeah.
Such details. What do you do, Steve?
I know I'm not doing anything. I'm on disability. And
How long have you been on disability?
Since 1985.
And what did you do in 1985?
I used to be in the grocery industry, but I had a fortunate accident with a store manager and an assistant manager of a store. And it was very unfortunate, and I was out of the grocery industry after that.
Do you have any friends?
Do I have any what?
Friends?
Oh, I have a few.
I get some strange quality about you. The way you report dates and details.
I have a very good memory.
How good a memory?
I think I'm pretty fantastic with dates and everything.
How fantastic?
Remembering a lot of things from my past, and
Did you see Rain Man?
I didn't pick that up, David.
Did you see Rain Man?
No,
Mm-hmm. I just wondered. How are you at doing multiplication in your head?
Not too good. I'm not very good at math. In fact, in school, I wound up with a D.
Uh-huh. What was your strongest subject in school?
Leather, wood, physical education I loved.
Okay. You take your brother's suicide on the February 2nd, the week before your birthday.
February 3rd, the following day.
You take that as a personal insult.
No, I just feel like from the friends that he was, well, let's put it this way. I guess it's the people that he fell in the wrong hands with. In other words, I thought the fellow or the friends that he was with were really good people at the time, but I, come to find out later on, they weren't the people that I really thought they were.
Are you blaming him for having them as friends, or are you blaming them for influencing him?
In a way, I sort of blame them. I really don't want
To blame
my brother, but
But he's the one who took the gun.
Yeah, but the gun really, he's never owned weapons that I know of in his whole life, except to come to find out from my dad that, he bought them for his own protection and for his job that he used to have.
I understand, but look what you're going for. You're having some feelings about your brother, and you're avoiding those feelings.
Yeah.
You don't want to be angry at your brother for what he did.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, it sounds like that's a feeling that you might have. He hurt you by taking his own life.
Yeah, he hurt a lot of people around us. Not only me, my mom and dad.
I understand. But if he hurt you and you don't let the hurt out, the hurt turns into anger, so you must feel some sense of being cheated by that. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
But there's something else going on. Why are you calling? There's something more recent.
I've had a hard time, David, dealing with confronting people.
And has there been a recent confrontation?
Yeah.
What's that?
Go
ahead.
Trying to being more, maybe more optimistic with people, trying to make a comeback, maybe trying to
What are you saying?
have a better rapport.
Okay, so someone didn't believe that you were ready to go back to work?
Right now I'm not qualified to go back to work.
Well, you were being optimistic and someone took the wind out of your sails, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Who took the wind out of your sails?
The people that I used to work with.
Oh, you tried to go back to them?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you lose the job originally? In one sentence.
Being assaulted.
How?
Being beaten
By
a store manager.
Why?
Lots of questions there. I don't know all the.
Okay.
It's hard to. Being beaten. Well, what do you want to call?
Assaulted?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were beaten?
Yeah.
All right. Did you press charges?
Well, I never had a chance to because the.
All right. So if you went back to the same place we had unresolved business, I wouldn't expect you would get any invitation to come back there. Why would they want you back?
Well.
They don't want you back because you represent a problem that's unsolved.
Yeah.
So don't take that as anything else. What you want to do is look for a job someplace else.
Well, that's the whole point. Nobody wants any part of me because now that I've been on disability for a certain amount of time already, and I've already got disability permanently for the rest of my life,
Mm-hmm.
I've tried, and nobody wants any part of that because I went to a court.
All right. Why not do leather work?
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to work right now. I'm trying to keep busy with a friend of mine, and
Why don't you do custom leather work? Something that you're in control of, something that you enjoy, something that you have. You have a way of supporting yourself. Why don't you do something that's a low-stress thing where you can get involved in the fine details of the work and at least walk away with the feeling that you're doing something that's in your best interest and has a reward. You don't want to work back with those people anyhow. The optimism in your life is being free to pursue your talent. Follow it. Sad.
David, there's a girl right now I want you to talk to. Her name is Laura, and it's very interesting. She's having, I guess, what you'd call fatal attraction. She'll tell you what that means. She's on line 3.
Laura? Laura.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I don't understand why I'm doing this to myself.
What are you doing? You're how old?
I'm 28,
Go ahead.
and I've been in several relationships, and most of the men that I've been with have been abusive toward me, either like emotionally or physically. And I don't know, for some reason lately, I've been putting myself into dangerous situations.
Like what?
Well, I'll hitchhike to get somewhere, or I'll go to a bar by myself, or I'll go to a pool hall by myself, and I know it's not safe.
Pool hall?
Yes.
You have a little bit of a death wish there, kid. Why are you doing this?
I don't know. Excuse me.
Why are you trying to destroy yourself?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on. When did this start?
I can't even tell you how long. Excuse me for a minute.
What's going on? What are you coughing about? Laura?
I'm really nervous.
Yeah, I know, but something inside you. What are you coughing about?
I don't know. I'm just really nervous.
Okay, but you got nervous at a certain point. I said, why are you punishing yourself? Go ahead, right there. What is that?
I don't know why I'm punishing myself. I just do things to myself.
All right, wait. Let's assume that you're punishing yourself. You're doing bad things. You're risking danger. That's always a self-punitive act, right?
Yes.
All right. So what have you done that makes you feel you're not good? That.
I don't know.
You know, you knew something crossed your consciousness. I could hear it as palpably as you're breathing. An idea just went in and you let it go out. What have you done that's made you feel you're bad?
I haven't done anything that makes me feel bad. I have a low self-esteem.
Yeah, but why? What were you party to that made you feel you were bad?
It started when I was a kid.
How old?
When my parents were physically abusive to me when I was growing up.
That would start it, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Tell me how that would start it.
I'm not sure how you want me to answer.
How did you feel towards them for abusing you?
I was very angry.
And what did you do with the anger?
I wet my bed.
Okay, that's...
I used to...
Come on, tell me. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Tell me. What did you do with the anger?
I used to hit the other kids in the neighborhood.
Younger kids?
No, kids my age. And older kids, I was a real bully.
And you were how old?
The earliest I can remember is maybe 4.
When you were doing this?
When it started, yeah.
Uh-huh. Did anyone touch you sexually?
Not that I remember.
Do you ever have the feeling that it might?
Yes.
When did you get that feeling?
I can't put an age limit on it, but I remember...
When did you remember?
I remember thinking from the time that I was very little that sex was wrong and that to touch private parts are wrong.
And when did you recall thinking that? Has that always been with you, or did you have a recollection when you got older?
It's always been with me.
Okay. When did you start doing these dangerous things, like going to pool halls and the like?
Oh, maybe when I was 21.
And what was going on then?
I was going through a very rough marriage, and I would leave the house and just go. Take off.
What was he doing?
I've been married twice. My first husband was very verbally abusive toward me.
So you recreated the home situation?
Yes.
And your second husband?
My second husband was physically abusive to me.
And what did he do?
He used to beat me up.
Okay. So what that did is it created a feeling of anger again.
Mm-hmm.
And the anger that it created in you was like unto the anger that you must have felt as a child. And the anger that you felt as a child was an anger that was wrapped in helplessness. There was nothing you could do about it. So here you had an anger in the present that woke up the anger in the child, the memory. that you had never dealt with. Now you had more anger than you knew what to do with. And like an angry child, you went out seeking punishment. The same way you went out seeking to beat up all the other kids. Now you went out to seek other people and to beat on you. Have you ever gotten into any kind of a therapy environment?
I was in family violence counseling with my second husband.
But if you haven't been in anything personal,
No.
that would be very helpful for you. This is very deep stuff. Deep meaning gold. When we say an emotion is superficial, we mean it's recent. When we say emotion is deep, we mean it's an older emotion. This is stuff that's been hanging around for a long time. What are you going to do about it?
I obviously need to go seek a counselor.
I think so. Not just a counselor, a therapist, someone who's skilled at getting in there and digging into this and coming to some kind of understanding. Because, you know, you only get one shot around in this life, and to be wrapped up in a sense of rage around an early abuse that has filled you with an unexpressible anger, so that in the present, when something happens to you, you feel ignited to go off on an old emotional pathway, almost out of control, and you try to block that by punishing yourself. Eventually, you put yourself in a position that you cannot control, and you lose control over it, and you can damage yourself very badly. I don't want that to happen. Stay tuned. We've got a lot more coming. We're back. John.
David, 24-year-old. The good news, he's in love. The bad news, he'll tell you.
Okay. That's 6.
Yes, sir.
Joe?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. You sound fragile.
Well, I have been in a relationship for 4 years with someone, and I'm going to school, and...
You're how old?
24.
Mm-hmm.
And in school, I've met someone, and we've mutually fallen in love. And so I'm dealing now with the fact that, you know, he's told me that he is HIV positive. And
What does that mean to you?
a lot of things.
Tell me.
Well, I'm really happy with him.
What does being HIV positive mean to you?
It means that I would have to undergo a lot of lifestyle changes if I choose to be with him.
What does being HIV positive mean?
There's a potential that he will die.
How great is the potential?
Well, he's been asymptomatic for 7 years now.
Okay. What is the chances? What are his odds?
What are his odds?
Mm-hmm.
It's
What are his odds of getting AIDS?
it's hard to tell, I guess.
It isn't. It's 100%.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll take that. Yeah.
Okay, and you know that.
Yeah.
Okay. But I have to fight with you to get it out of you. I mean, I was just...
Well, yeah. Of course, I hope.
Hope what?
Well, 7 years is a long time to be asymptomatic. You know, it so far it looks pretty good, but okay, I have to grasp the fact that eventually he will die.
Correct. I just want you to know.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. So the lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
All right. What does that mean to you?
Well, I would have to not have sex with him. You know.
That's what it means. Because
Yeah.
any kind of sexual contact with him is
Yeah,
dangerous.
it's completely
out of the question.
out of the question. Yeah.
Okay. Is that what you want?
is where the major problem is. I love him so much that I could see my whole life with him, but I have the physical question. You know, I enjoy having sex. That whole thing. Am I willing to give up that whole part of my life?
That's exactly where you are.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big decision.
And where does that leave you?
I don't know.
Okay. You have to think a long time about this one.
Yeah, a long time, yeah.
All right. I'm not saying you should protect yourself from the loss of someone you're going to love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a way we can protect ourselves from situations like this. But I think you're going through a situation that is something that is going to be very difficult. And you have to know. And you have to be sure. And you have to want to. You cannot be ambivalent about this one.
No.
Because the disease he has is not ambivalent at all. And essentially you're dealing with the least ambivalent situation that you've ever been in. So you have to be clear about it. Take some time. If your emotions are true, they'll stand the test of time. Be patient. John?
If you please take time to talk to Irene just for a moment. Right now, her daughter, her young teenage daughter, she locked her in the bedroom down the hall.
Okay. Irene?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
What's going on?
Oh, my daughter's a habitual runaway. She's been doing it for
How
about
old?
a year.
How old is she?
16.
And why is she running away?
She really doesn't tell me. She just doesn't like to live with me. She says I'm hard to live with. She doesn't want to live by my rules.
Okay.
So she runs away like a coward.
And how far away does she get?
Well, about 20 miles away.
And what does she do?
Has fun, drinks, probably does drugs.
And what have you done for her?
I'm taking her to counseling.
And what's been the outcome?
She doesn't talk to the counselors. I end up talking to them.
Okay.
She'd say, well, you go in and talk to him because I don't want to talk to him today.
But do you go in together?
Yeah, we went in together.
And what happens?
She ends up blaming me for everything.
Well, of course she's going
We get in an argument.
Of course you're going to get in an argument. But is the counselor able to help you cut through that mess?
No.
Why not?
I don't know, because we just keep on arguing. We go to another thing, and then we start arguing again. We argue about everything.
How many times have you been to a counselor?
We've been going for about a year, going to 2 different ones.
What happened a year ago?
She started ditching school.
Yeah, I know. That's the symptoms, her actions. But what happened a year ago? Is your husband still in the family?
Yes.
Has his behavior changed?
No.
Has anything changed within the last year in the house?
No.
Or the last year and a half?
No.
Such as a move, a change in occupation?
Well, we just moved about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But that was just 2 weeks ago. She's been doing this for over a year.
Okay, but what happened a year ago?
Her grandmother died.
Ah, how close was she to her grandmother?
Well, when she was young, they were real close.
Okay. And how long ago exactly did grandmother die?
Died a year ago, January.
And when did she start getting into trouble?
May.
Guess what?
That's when she ran away. First time she ran away was in May.
Guess what? It's related to the death of her grandmother. Now, what I would do is I would find another therapist, someone who's going to deal with her about the death of her grandmother. And what she's doing is she's running away from your home, and she's running away because she has anger and hurt, and it's one of those feelings that she cannot face. And because she cannot face them, she's acting out. Adolescents are different than us. They're not complete people. They have what we call fluid defenses. They move all over the place, and when they have an emotion they cannot handle, they act out the emotion and put it into a kind of bizarre play. And that portrayal makes their behavior seem very strange to us, but there's always something important: the grandmother's death. Of course, and yet it seems so far away.